Today marks 1 year since pro-Palestine protests at the UT Austin campus led to clashes between protesters and local police and DPS, resulting in dozens of arrests.
The people united will never be divided.
On April 24th, 2024, and during several demonstrations thereafter, protesters demanded UT leaders divest from Israel as the war in Gaza intensified. Last spring, UT system leaders rejected that idea.
Divestment is not an option. We will continue to maximize our investments to ensure our students have scholarships and we can provide an affordable, accessible education.
Now, UT leaders also defended the university's response to call in law enforcement for the protest. After the arrest, almost all charges against the protesters were dropped, but some students did face disciplinary action for violating campus policies. Now, in the wake of similar protests all across the country, multiple studies pointed to a rise in anti-Semitism. And now state lawmakers are taking up bills to try to crack down on that issue in Texas school. If a student faces disciplinary action, Governor Greg Abbott signed an executive order last spring telling Texas universities to review their free speech policies and use of definition of anti-Semitism from the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance to determine if the actions are anti-Semitic. Senate Bill 326 and House Bill 2391 would expand that to public and charter schools. Here's a bit of the Senate's debate on that bill from last week.
Senate Bill 326 is needed to ensure that all Texas schools, colleges, and universities have proper tools to identify and combat anti-Semitism.
How can we make sure that this bill protects the students' right to freedom of speech and expression while also ensuring that the behaviors may be perceived as hateful and discriminatory are addressed appropriately? And I guess
And the House was set to take a vote on its version of that bill today, but it's been delayed until Tuesday. To mark 1 year since last year's demonstrations, the Palestine Solidarity Committee announced plans to host another protest on the lawn at UT Austin today at around 5:15. But UT leaders sent them a warning letter, which a spokesperson shared with KVUE, saying the group cannot host that event for two reasons. One, the main mall will be closed for another event that's happening later this week. And they say that the PSC is under an interim suspension because of last year's protests.